Well, today is the start of a new era at Manchester United as Ruben Amorim officially begins his new role at Old Trafford, and he takes over a side who are growing in confidence.
We'll have a look at the task facing Amorim throughout the morning, including the decision he needs to make on Ruud van Nistelrooy's future after the interim boss made it 3 wins from 4 games by beating Leicester.
Well, Amorim has been speaking after taking charge of Sporting for the final time last night, and he's ready to get to work at Manchester United.
I'm really happy. It was, again, an amazing night. I feel ready for the new challenge. I'm not naive. I know that it's going to be very, very different, very tough, but I feel that I'm ready. I'm in peace now. I can focus on my new job, and I'm looking forward for start.
Amorim on his way to England, where he'll then complete his work permit. Despite other reports, there's no delay in him taking over, as this is the standard process following Brexit. Amorim will be able to attend meetings at Carrington, but can only formally start taking training sessions once his visa is issued.
Amorim also confirmed he plans to speak to Ruud van Nistelrooy today about his future. That's after the interim head coach ended his spell with a 3-0 win over Leicester.
And it was clear the fans hope he'll stay at Old Trafford after an emotional ovation at full time.
Well, that win confirmed an unbeaten spell in charge for Van Nistelrooy across his 4 games. There were pretty emotional scenes at full time. He was applauding the United crowd, one fan brought to tears. So was it a farewell for the club's former striker with Amorim's impending rival?
It felt like a closure for that period, and the future is open. That's the way I felt it, and it was a moment. It was a beautiful moment to be able to share that with the supporters. And the most important thing is this football club, and I'm here to support that in my role. And as I said, I want to continue doing that in the future. And now, also the communication was okay. After a block of 4 games, there will be communication towards you and your colleagues that are in an uncertain situation.
A legend of a club like Manchester, he did a great job. I have to talk with him tomorrow, and then I will explain everything. I'm very clear, and I will tell you like it is. Okay, so let's wait until tomorrow. Maybe we are not going to talk. Yeah, so let's wait for the next few weeks.
Well, one other challenge for Amorim this morning. After scoring United's 3rd goal, Alejandro Garnacho chose not to celebrate his 7th goal of the season in all competitions. And the captain, Bruno Fernandes, spoke to the forward at full time and revealed why Garnacho decided against celebrating. This is what he said. Garnacho didn't celebrate because he thinks he has lost the faith of some fans. I told him, people will always moan, but lots of people like you. I told him to celebrate. Garnacho was involved in an interaction with a fan outside of Old Trafford that went viral on social media before their win over Leicester in the Carabao Cup.
Right, let's get more on Manchester United with James Saundra now. James, first day on the job for Amorim today, and it's fair to say he's taking on a team with a much improved confidence.
Yeah, let's bear in mind where Manchester United were a few weeks ago, where Erik Ten Hag was sacked after a 2-1 defeat at the London Stadium to West Ham. It was slightly fortuitous, the penalty that West Ham got that day. But when you look at where United were at that point in the season, it felt like there was really going to be a struggle for this to be any sort of success, because United had won just once in their last 8 matches in all competitions. They'd yet to win in Europe, 3 straight draws in the Europa League. But Ruben van Nistelrooy has taken over for 4 matches, and it feels like he's galvanised the fan base once again. United are back to winning ways. They won 3 of the 4 matches under Ruud van Nistelrooy. There was the draw as well against Chelsea, where they took the lead through that Bruno Fernandes penalty. And the goals have been flowing as well for Manchester United once again. That has been one of the main complaints for Erik Ten Hag's side this season. In fact, they've created chances they've not been getting on the score sheet, but they have been so far this season. They scored a decent number of goals under Ruben van Nistelrooy. There was the 5 goals against Leicester in the first game they played in the Carabao Cup, and then they scored 3 yesterday in the Premier League. We can see the stats here now. Over the course of the 14 matches Erik Ten Hag managed at the start of the season, this includes the Community Shield final as well against Manchester City. Just 4 wins. When you consider Ruben van Nistelrooy got 3 wins from 4 matches. And in terms of the goals per game, up much more under Ruud van Nistelrooy. Home goals, both have got 11. And Ruud van Nistelrooy has been blessed with the fact all 4 matches were at home. But when you consider Erik Ten Hag his side scored 11 home goals in those matches, 7 of them were in one game against Barnsley from League One in the Carabao Cup. So it just shows. And also, United have been a much tighter at the back as well under Ruud van Nistelrooy. Admittedly, the fixtures he's had have been decent ones. He's not had huge matches. The one against Chelsea at home, but having that home comfort's really helped Manchester United that day. But having those games, winning in the Europa League as well, means that Ruud van Nistelrooy hands the baton to Ruben Amorim with United in a much better place, a much better platform for them to go and be successful this season.
Yeah, well, Amorim said he wouldn't talk about the United job until after his final match with Sporting, now that that role has ended. What's he had to say?
Yeah, it's been really interesting the way he's been very respectful of Sporting and said, yes, I've got the Manchester United job, but I'm fully focused. And we saw that with the victory against Manchester City last week, winning 4-1 in his final Champions League match in charge. He leaves Sporting in such a brilliant position. They won their 11 league matches at the start of this season, so he certainly passes it on. And you could say he's certainly taken the job onto the next level for that team. He's left it in a better spot, which is brilliant from Ruben Amorim. And because there was no real discernible style of play for Manchester United under Erik Ten Hag, a lot of focus has been on what Amorim ball will bring and what football will be like at Old Trafford. And in the last couple of weeks, a lot of talk has focused around his 3-4-3 formation at Sporting. He confirmed in his post-match news conference he'll be sticking with it when they face Ipswich in 2 weeks' time, live on Sky Sports.
I know how I am going to play in the beginning, because you have to start with a structure that you know, and then you will adapt with the players that you have, some injuries or no injuries, what kind of players, the abilities to defend, to attack. I will discover that in the next few weeks. We don't have a lot of time to train, so I have to show something that I know very well. So you can take whatever you want from that.
So Ruben Amorim's tended to play with 3 at the back, with 2 midfielders, 2 wing-backs and then a striker with 2 inside forwards. And here are the attacking options that he has at his disposal when he starts work today, when he gets on the coaching pitch with the players next week at some point. And we can see Alejandro Garnacho didn't actually start yesterday. He's United's top scorer when it comes to United's options in forward areas at the start of this season. Yesterday we saw Rasmus Højlund play as a striker, Bruno Fernandes slightly behind him, Ahmad, who has got off to a really good start, it must say, to the start of this season, then faded away a little bit. But 2 goals last week in the Europa League, the assist for Bruno Fernandes yesterday, so definitely an option there for Manchester United. And there's other options there. Anthony's barely seen any football at the start of this season. A lot of money Manchester United paid to sign him. Will he feature at all under the new manager? I guess the issue will be Bruno Fernandes. You'd think he would have a huge role under Ruben Amorim, considering the Sporting connection there, considering just how important Bruno Fernandes has been, considering the players that United have signed since Sir Alex Ferguson left. You could say Bruno Fernandes is probably one of the only players who has actually exceeded expectations when he signed. But the thing is, because there's going to be, unless Bruno Fernandes plays as one of the 2 central midfield roles, you'd think he'd have to fit into the front 3. And would he play as a false 9, as the striker? Rasmus Højlund, you think, would get that opportunity, the nod up front, but then perhaps he plays as on the inside forward. So there's a number of options here. And you think with the way that Ruben Amorim looks to play his football, unless I've heard some argue that maybe Garnacho could play as a wing-back, there's going to be some players there who are going to be very unhappy. Fortunately, there's a lot of football that United have got to get through, it being in Europe, being the Carabao Cup. The FA Cup will start again in January, but there'll be real fierce competition for places because of how Ruben Amorim looks to set up his side.
And we'll be debating this for the next 2 weeks until we see them in action for the first time. Now, despite the improvement in form, United are still 13th in the table, but there's reasons to be positive about that too?
Yeah, absolutely, because, yes, they're 13th in the table, but look, 15 points. They're just 4 points off Chelsea in 3rd place. You could say it's a slightly false position for Manchester United because of the points they picked up. It's really tight between 3rd and 13th, just 4 points separating those sides. And I think when you look at the matches that Ruben Amorim has ahead of him over the course of the next 6 matches in the Premier League and in Europe as well, he'll look at these games, in particular in the Premier League games. Ipswich away, Everton at home. Could Manchester United be in a situation following that game on the 1st of December where they're right in contention to qualify for the Champions League, which felt a long way away a couple of months ago when United really were struggling under Erik Ten Hag? They've got winnable matches in the Europa League as well. The toughest test will come, you think, away at the Emirates on the 4th of December in the Premier League. Over the course of the time he's got in the international break and the course of the next 3 matches, can he get United into a situation where they can go to the Emirates and compete? He'll certainly hope so.
All right, thanks, James.